tough to be a black man when man's pride is taking care of his family, providing food for the table, providing a great environment, a nice place to live, and suddenly someone says, you can't do that anymore. That's heartbreaking. It's very tough for a black man to become successful in a country that didn't give him the proper tools of education to deal with once he left that school place. It is very tough. Where we are headed, only God knows where we're headed. I don't have a crystal ball, Jay. I can tell you this. I hope that black men all over America realizes that the game outside is tough. It is very, very cold. It is very hard, but that game is not impossible. To win, you must get committed. It's tough to say that to a person that don't know how to weld or to build or to do carpentry. Just the average person who dropped out of school and now discovers at 28, 29, I messed up. It's never too late to learn.
Good old Barry White back in 1983 giving out solutions to the problems that we face right now, 2025. Guys, yo, welcome to the Righteous Fair. Hit that like button. Keep in mind, guys, this video is sponsored by Ridge Wallet. Get yourself a man's wallet, guys. Click into that link, view products, and get yourself a real wallet. All right, y'all, so today, man, we here to talk about it, guys. Guys, we got to get some skills. We got to get ourselves to some skills. And Barry White mentioned it. You got to be committed. And that commitment you got to make is with God. You got to chase God and your purpose, guys. That's how you going to get your skills to not be a victim. You see it in that order. You MGTOW, you Roman 12:2, stop conforming with the ways of the world. So many of you guys, y'all want to be liked instead of successful. Y'all run around here people pleasing, trying to please everybody. And when you give everybody your spirit, guess who left without a spirit? You. All right? So you got to put yourself first. You got to MGTOW, go find God, because God going to give you some answers. God gonna give you some plays, and you run those plays, and you gonna create your purpose. You gonna focus on that. You no longer gonna fold and succumb to your lust and your desires, guys. That's what it's about. As a man, we gotta set more goals than desires. All right, let's get into it.
When we think calling, almost the majority of the time in the New Testament, where the word calling or where we think purpose is referenced in the New Testament, we automatically see that as we think calling in America, we think a platform, we think an assignment, we think all of that. But the majority of the time, the word calling is actually mentioned in the New Testament in its proper context. It has to do with salvation. It has to do with God wooing a human being to himself. We take calling and we automatically attach that to what I would call assignments. Right? Like me being a pastor is an assignment, right?
Yeah.
But the majority of the time, the New Testament is speaking of calling. If you study that properly, it speaks of God wooing a human being to himself.
Calling us to himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the call first is to himself, not to a platform, not to a stage, not to a title, not to an office. Calling is to himself. And I think there are those of us who knew that God wooed us to himself. We can sense that moment when something transformed in our heart, whether it was gradual or for me, it was instantaneous. We know because now there is an awareness of sin. I think if there is no awareness of sin, if there is no awareness that this is wrong, I'm not sure if you've been called. I'm not sure if you've been converted into Christianity. I think you have Christian lingo and Christian behavior, but you have not been converted. You have not been born again.
And again, guys, don't let these titles and names like Christianity and Christian and this and that, and take the context for what it is. See it for what it is, guys. Don't let the names and titles distract you or deter you, because it will do that. You know what I mean? Because then when you get into the religion part of this, of these facts and these truths, the religious part, is a business. So each religious institute gotta pretend that they're the greatest so that they can get more followers, which will generate more money for the business. But the context, when you start to follow God and you start to choose the king in you more than the demon in you, you're gonna really see a big change in your life. That's all that really means, guys. A lot of us fight it. Oh, I don't want to believe. And that's why you get the results you get. You have nobody to blame but you. You know what I mean? Choices and decisions we make based off our core beliefs. That's what it come down to, guys. We getting deep today. Hit that like button. But let's go more. Let's go deep.
Marriage license deception. This piece of paper, it's not what it seems. Did you know before 1930 people didn't need this? No state interference, no legal contract with the government. Before states took control, marriage was a private agreement. It was either a sacred ceremony in churches, a family arrangement, or even common law. The state didn't own marriage. In the 1800s, marriages were based on trust, community, and tradition. If a couple lived together and presented themselves as married, they were married in the eyes of society. Churches, not governments, sanctioned these unions. People didn't need permission from the state. When you sign this, you're not just committing to each other, you're inviting the state into your relationship. It's a three-way contract. They dictate everything: taxes, property, even divorce. Instead of it being a sacred bond between two people, the state becomes the main joiner, deciding the terms. Before 1930, marriage was a personal, private affair, but as the state took control, marriage licenses became mandatory, turning a sacred bond into a legal contract. Now, the state has a say in who you marry, how you live, and how it ends. You can accomplish the same thing with a Holy Bible, a recorded date, and a visit to probate.
And marriage is at an all-time low because it's the devil. Y'all getting married by the devil. So anything that got to do with the devil, it's not going to last. It's not forever. Let's be truthful now. If the way y'all went out there and married each other was holy and really by God, it wouldn't be so devilish. It wouldn't be so destructive. Look at what it's doing to the people.
Say to all you men, us women, we tired of getting disrespected.
That's right.
Y'all men want to be leaders, we want to be leaders too.
Yup.
Y'all men want to get money, we want to get money too.
Money.
Y'all men want to pay the bills, we want to pay the bills too. Y'all men want to propose, hell, we want to get on one knee and propose too.
Whoa.
It's time for us women to stand up. Don't touch me. Oh shit. It's time for us women to take the lead. It's time for us women to pay for the first date. It's time for us to mow the lawn. It's time for us to
Positive that's happening is you see this massive wave of believers in God and Christ happening right now. I mean, it is a wave. I'm part of it. I personally believe that this is bigger than any of us can even fathom.
And I'm with you.
It seems to be the only thing that we can all come together on.
And we're in more of a spiritual battle than anything. And our ability to win this is to stand together, regardless of whether we agree on all aspects. The government, the media, everything they do is designed to divide. They divide you on race, religion, politics, social ideology, COVID, whatever. I always explain about a flashbang. Flashbang, little grenade canister that has no shrapnel, but we use it when we were serving search warrants. You take the pin, you throw it in there, boom! It's a loud noise, it's a bright light and percussion. We have all been flashbanged. And if we don't get our wits about us real quick, we're going to be in big trouble.